the wildest truth. I know you like the sound of it. I know you love the style of it. Now sit back, here comes the wildest truth. All I gotta say is I love the word bitch. Remember me still hating on Nintendo shit? 3 years later, Uncharted shits on Gears of War. Now I don't gotta say I hate it no more. Same review who loves to say son of a bitch became a YouTube star, still don't own a car. You want a review, you don't gotta look far. Prove once again these sites ain't on par. So with Heavy Rain, we go with a more serious, more mature, more twisted, and basically a crime story going on, whereas this origami killer kidnaps children, puts them in a well, and lets them drown there for the next few days. They have a few days to live, but the water's filling up because it's raining so much, and then they have about 4 days to find the kid before he drowns. Now, we also are playing 4 very different characters in this game, from Ethan Mars to Shelby to Madison, and then the last is Jaden, and they're all different. Jaden's an FBI agent, Shelby's a private eye, Madison is the journalist, and Ethan is the father of the Origami's latest victim. However, what's really cool is that they're all trying to figure out, obviously, one is trying to figure out who the Origami killer is, one's trying to find his son, one is talking to the victims of the previous victims' families, and Madison, being a journalist, is trying to, report it all. So overall, they all combine into one story, and they all intertwine with each other, and that's what's great. And basically, you don't feel like there's any main character, though Ethan feels more like he's the spotlight, obviously, because he is the father of the victim. But overall, all the stories combining together make a great, great crime. Most of the time you're figuring out what is happening, who is what, and trying to figure out who the killer is, but at the same time you're building connections with these characters, and even the chapters that have non-related to the killer just build on the character, and you actually care about the character and find them interesting, and the game really does well. There's really no negative aspect in the story. I would say maybe the only negative aspect is some of the voice acting's off, but really I never found any that were cringeworthy, except maybe the kids. Sometimes they have like really bad lines or accents, but in the broad scope of everything from beginning to the end, and especially the last 2 hours, it's a great story, and how it's told, you gotta give them props.
You have reached your destination. Are you ready to show your courage in order to save your son? Listen carefully. Take the highway and drive against the traffic for 5 miles. If you haven't reached your destination in 5 minutes, you will have failed.
Some are going to be taken back by me giving a perfect 10 in this area, but that's because, let's face it, people, you're never going to have perfect graphics. And yes, some of the animations look stiff, and there's little graphical glitches here and there, but overall, this is probably one of the best looking games in the entire generation of this gen. It just looks so wonderful. Some of the backgrounds look like actual, like, potato chip boxes and stuff like that. They actually look real. The human faces look real, so real sometimes they scare me. It's just overall, the amount of polish that went into this game to make it look this good is just great. And yeah, sure, it's not the best game. There are some blocky features in the arms and fingers. And yeah, there's a little, slowness in the animations. But overall, if you can look past that and just give it props for the design and making this look like a city, this dark and moody atmosphere really brings like this city to life. And in the end, the raw power of the graphics just helped this game look amazing. The gameplay is broken up into 2 sections in my mind. One section, you're basically walking around finding clues in different ways, such as with Jaden, you can use the Ari, which you can see like everything that's around, like fingerprints and everything, and then read what it says from those fingerprints right there in like kind of like a digital way, and that's really cool. Or you're looking for clues, or like in movies when the guy goes inside the kitchen and get food and you look into the bedroom and everything and they just get out the last second. You actually do that in the game. So overall, it's basically walking around looking for clues, talking to people, and getting an idea of what the hell is happening. And that's more of the slower part of the game, and sometimes it's using chapters to build relationships. You'll even be cooking dinner for your kids. Sometimes you'll just be helping somebody take care of a kid, and so on. I'm talking about like real life situations, and that's one part of the game, and I think it helps because it builds on the story part. And then you have the quick time event action moments, and I'm not going to show too many because there's quite a few in this, but I'll show off a few, and they are just great. They bring something not a lot of quick time events bring. Excitement. Your heart's racing. You're clicking that X button. You're clicking right, left, up, down. When he's jumping over that fence, you're clicking all these buttons like crazy because it feels like a perfect action moment. And that's what the game brings and offers, and that's something a lot of QuickTime events don't do. Most of them are frustrating, or you have to get away from one enemy over and over again by clicking circle. This game tries to do something different. It makes sense. If you're going to go right, you're going to have to click right. So the action moment sets it up for you, and you just have to watch it and click it at the exact moment like a movie. You're doing the movie. You're basically making the movie. You're the director. And that's something I love about this game.
No way he's escaping. I'm gonna get that bastard.
So the QuickTime events are a lot, and if you're not a fan of that, you probably won't like this game. But if you do like the QuickTime events, I'm sure you're going to enjoy the game a lot, because there's plenty of them. They bring some of the best moments in gaming. They had my heart racing. There's situations I had to think, what do I pick up? What weapon do I use? What do I do? How do I stop it? And just for that, not a lot of games do it. I'm giving this a very high score. But there are things in this section that piss me off. The camera, it is not a fun thing to play with. It is like some on Devil May Cry 1 shit. However, you're not moving the camera in action, so you're really just using it when you're investigating, so it's not too bad and you don't have to worry about getting stuck. And that's another thing that brings to the controls feel a little awkward and sloppy and old Resident Evil style motion. But really, again, you're not doing anything while you're doing that. You're basically just looking for clues and so on, so you don't have to worry too much about, being fast or anything. And the very last thing is some of the movements, anything with the 6-axis when you have to do in a QuickTime event, are not fun to do. Sony's 6-axis controller idea was fucking retarded. Sony knows it, and that's why a lot of games don't use anything. So it's not that great of an idea in here, and sometimes it messes up the flow of the QuickTime events. But anyway, there's not too many of those, and overall, besides the awkward controls at times when you're investigating, everything else works really well, and the gameplay is definitely something I like to see in future games. Heavy Rain, to put it blunt, is a different experience. It's not the same old shoot 'em up. It's not the same old RPG. There's things that are borrowed from different games and everything, but overall it feels new. Yes, it kind of feels like a click and point adventure to some, and especially PC fans or click and point fans will feel that way, but I feel it's much more. It's the next step in click and point if you want to really compare it. It brings, again, all these characters in one situation and all different outcomes mattering what you do. There is no game over screen, people. If your character dies in a cutscene, they're dead for that part of the game, but the game continues. And that's something, again, this game does that not a lot of games do. So the game, like I said, offers so much new. Now, the game is anywhere from, I would say, 8 to 10 hours. And that's good because you're going to want to replay this game. This game has a lot of endings. A lot of different outcomes can come from all different moral choices, and there's plenty of them in this game. Or just events that you fuck up on and you got to redo the whole story. So while the game isn't the longest game, replaying it is definitely here, and there's plenty of replayability in this game. And by now you're probably saying, shut the fuck up, you already said it's different. It's so different, it brings all these new things. But I can't stress enough that I haven't had this type of experience in gaming. Indigo Prophecy felt like the beta for this. This offers so much more, and I can't stress enough that even if you don't like the demo, I suggest renting the game. Even if you don't want to buy it for 60 bucks, it is a short game, and you don't think you're going to replay it after you try the first time, rent it at least. This game is different, and that's what the gaming community needs every once in a while. So, Heavy Rain, you are different, but you are certainly a great, amazing game.
Fuck!